Hello, my name is Brian Bennett. Thank you so much for coming to spend your time with me on my new YouTube channel. As you'll see on the thumbnail, I labeled this one Stay With It. I ran into a little problem through this, really got me discouraged and wanted to start over. But I pushed through, found some lessons to learn through here, and figured I would share them. So when you see the finished product, do you see something in there that would make you want to quit? Is there something in there that you couldn't look over? Check it out. Maybe we'll start a conversation in the comments, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. See what we can learn from this. See what I can share. See what I can teach you guys. So here's our finished product. I was super excited about it. The yellow against the blue really worked out. I really liked how her hair actually came out, and I'll explain how I did that. But I really like how all the extra color around made the whites of her eyes just really stand off. The part that I didn't like, can you see that? Can you see what would distract me? What would make me, want to drop this and not finish? The goal of this piece for me was to figure out how to use acrylic markers. It's not something I really used much in the past. So getting in here for this piece, I didn't really focus much on design. I just wanted to get in and color. So what you'll see here is I just printed this cute picture off of Pinterest, and I used a graphite piece of tracing paper, traced the piece down onto some Bristol board, and then began inking. All right, now, so this is the beginning of the piece. I start inking. I start with the eyes. I always feel like there's some cool connection you have with a piece and the eyes. Then obviously you notice heavy line weights are being used where you're trying to draw people's eyes, lighter line weights through things that are just almost of a supporting cast. Yeah, nice cool line around her chin, on her jawbone. Hair's going to be dark, so good line weight, good dark in there to keep things dark. And then I jump into what is, I think, the magic of markers here is I get to do an undertone, underbase painting here. So you see all these little lines, they're nice and soft. They'll actually start showing you the dimension. When you get in with a heavier, darker color, you can color right over that, and it actually makes it look like things are dimensional. And this is the point that kills me. For whatever reason, you just can't color over a gray underbase painting with a lighter tone, and that's the place that stopped me. So all this little area on her neck made me want to throw this piece away. With her skin tone, I learned after doing this piece, if you want all that marker to actually lay consistent and smooth, what you got to do is move your marker smoothly and slowly in a very uniformed way, and that will actually let this lay down flat. What I ended up doing to get it look flat was just layer on layer and layer, and that kind of took away from a little bit of what I was looking for. All right, moving on to her bow tie. I wish I would have actually went through and put more of those darker oranges. I feel like I really got them to blend the way I wanted to, but I just didn't have quite enough of that. And then we move into the part that I think really worked for me. We have this underbase that really worked with the browns. You can see just one layer of marker, and that underbase actually gives it some dimension. It gives it some of that shadow that you were looking for. And even in this part right here, you could see it went over where the gray was actually blended out, and you could see that it really looks blended. That part I was excited about. And then this part you can see in her bangs, I went over one coat quick and then just kind of let that sit. And then I worked from each edge and darkened those up. So it actually looked like there was a highlight through the middle of their bangs. And all that is just layering more brown where I wanted it to be darker. So that part was super excited with that. That really clicked. I was happy to have that. Now we move into the eyes. I ran this little piece of video a little bit slower so you can actually see what I'm doing. It's fine tip marker, it's slower pieces, a little bit of effort of blending. I feel like a good part of what makes markers blend is having colors that actually look really close to each other, and then it's much more simple to make a blend. I don't know, I feel like I kind of achieved it here, leaving some whites as little highlights in her eyes. Yeah, I'm super happy with that. When I'm putting a piece of artwork together, I'm always thinking of what the star of my show is and what my supporting cast will be. So the star of this show is going to be her face, her rosy little cheeks, her lips, her eyes, her hair, but the shirt is really just a supporting cast. So I purposely am not making it any more saturated than I need to just get the shirt there. I'm not putting any more details in that would have anybody grab or have it grab anybody's eyes. Same thing with collarbone. Once I get down to that point, I want that to be all of minimal detail. Then at this point, start moving on to the cute features. Wanted her cheeks to be rosy, wanted her nose be a little red. She's exciting. Had to go over that skin tone a little bit more to kind of make it blend the way I wanted it to. So now we're back to that neck. I'm going in again, just trying to make these blend, trying to hide that mess of that gray that's under there. But the lesson I learned here is I really should have just found two very similar color markers, one that I could use as regular skin tone and the other that I could use for the shadow of the skin tone. I think that's what will make that actually look like the way we want it to and not have that mess of gray. So you can see I did the same thing, kind of going over her ears, the little bit of shadow that would have been from her hair. Just made a couple extra passes with the same color marker. I think that I kind of did what I was looking to do there. Now we move on to lips. A little bit of cute pink. I think I actually kind of ruined this by going over and trying to blend that a little bit more. I think you could still kind of see that skin tone kind of stick out a little bit more than I wanted to, so I probably should have just called that good. But here you are, she's cute. I'm super happy with this, and then realized just the last step we needed to put on here was put a little background on here. So in a second you'll see you see the yellow come on. I didn't even think while I was doing the yellow that I should have been recording. It was an afterthought, like man, I missed out on that. So anyway, that's her. All right, so that's a wrap on the first video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something. I know it's super cliche with this whole like, subscribe, and comment shit. I honestly don't care about an algorithm. I'm not looking to make this go to the stars. I just want to get a chance to know people. I want to kind of get a chance to share what I do know and maybe make somebody else a little bit more excited about art, maybe teach something. It would be wonderful to have somebody, be able to say thank you for being able to advance their life with art. So, in the sake of making this a community, let's get in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. Let me see if there's something else I can teach. Is there something else I missed? Is there something that you like? I'll be there. I'll be there ready to comment and, figure out what else I can share. So thank you again for coming. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.